The scientists cannot risk being caught at work. Raphael Hautefort and his assistant sneak up to the dome for the day. Professor Giscard is too old for such a swift climb. He has told them where to search with the scanner by following the structure of the Chinese imperial tombs. Visibility is perfect and the wind mild, a godsend. Before using the scanner, they send the flying wing to precisely model the summit plateau.
Go on, honey. Into the wind. We're counting on you.
The discoveries come thick and fast. New stone structures have been erected since the last mission. An outer wall, an oval, and strange forms on the sides of the dome. The extent of the work proves the cult practiced here is as active as ever. What could these geoglyphs mean? Yaroslav Lebedinsky is the leading expert on the symbols of Central Asia. He will try to unlock their secrets.
Pierre-Henri Giscard sent me this copy of the stone structures found on the slopes of Burkhan Khaldun. At first glance, I can see a number of tamgas, that's to say, a sign of ownership used by the Mongols. At least two of these tamgas can be identified immediately as belonging to members of the Mongol imperial dynasty. We know this thanks to numismatists who found these signs on coins minted by the Mongols. Tamga number 1 is that of the great Khan Mongke, who reigned from 1251 to 1259. And Tamga number 4 is evidently that of the great Khan Guyuk, who ruled from 1246 to 1249, as seen here on one of his coins. These 6 tamgas represent 6 different figures who all belong to the Mongol imperial dynasty. We can also see the visual link between these signs. They were based on a first motif and then evolved to give rise to tamga subgroups. Genghis Khan's personal tamga is not known for sure. But if the theory, which links the symbols on Burkhan Khaldun to the first Mongol emperors, is actually correct, then Genghis Khan's tamga is this circle with a stem and crossbar. This idea of a Mongol dynastic necropolis, where all the rulers were buried, or at least the first rulers, is formally corroborated by Marco Polo's text, which states the following: all the great Khans and princes of the blood of Genghis Khan are carried to a great mountain to be buried, wherever they die, even 100 days' journey from it, as they do not want to be buried anywhere else.
So it appears there is not 1, but 6 Mongol Khans buried here, the entire Genghis Khan dynasty. What information do the tamga builders possess to know symbols unknown to leading experts? The circles that showed up on the thermal image during the first mission are old tamgas, which collapsed over time, but whose bases still emit thermal signatures. The sanctuary's guardians rebuilt them between the 2 expeditions. There is no doubt that the cult practiced here has existed for a very long time, probably since the death of Genghis Khan.
Scan. Scan.
The team has to finish taking measurements as quickly as possible, so as not to risk getting caught. It would be awkward, to say the least. The scanner accurately measures the electromagnetic conductivity of the subsurface to a depth of 4 meters. Interpreting this data should reveal the nature of the dome.
Scan.
Perfect. Now the last one.
We meet up with Tara Bezin at Paris-Sorbonne University. Usually very restrained, she is visibly excited now. Tara is here to see Alain Tabag, Professor Emeritus in Geophysics, who has deciphered the scanner's data.
Here are the maps I found at the Jussieu campus. It's good because they cover our sector. We're exactly here. Obviously, the area is white because it's a forbidden zone, so it doesn't appear on the map. But you can see the granitic areas start roughly in this sector and probably extend downwards. So did you manage to process the data?
Looking at the geomagnetic measurements taken on the dome resulted in the following, which is very satisfactory. The electric resistivity, the magnetic susceptibility, and the permittivity show the ground has a sandy texture, which developed on a crystalline environment and through alteration.
But you don't get a 40-meter high dome simply from natural alteration, from natural debris.
Yes, there's no doubt that the dome is not a natural formation.
You're right.
It would have been flattened for sure by the wind and rain. So we can consider that an established fact.
So it could be a burial mound.
Absolutely, a tumulus.
Wow, I'm absolutely thrilled. The only thing I was after was what you've just said. It's exactly what we were hoping for.
Excellent.
So the composition of this tumulus, since that's what it is, would probably be local.
Yes, it's sand, local sand.
Okay. That's interesting because the digital elevation model
Yes.
shows an anomaly in the terrain, which could well have resulted from the extraction of material.
I see. To the north of the tumulus here.
That's right. There are other anomalies in the terrain. Here, you can see it's more disturbed.
Yes, it's more disturbed here than here or here, where the topographic surface is extremely smooth.
A tumulus of such proportions takes time to build, and it's more practical to make use of materials close to the site. And if the layout is similar to that of Chinese tombs, with a burial chamber under the pile of debris, could the scanner have detected it?
We only have access to the first 4 meters, so it's impossible to know what's underneath.
Alain Tabag has formally validated their findings. His conclusion is definite. The dome was built by man with the same material, sand, and in the same form as the Chinese imperial pyramids. The scientists are now certain Genghis Khan's tomb is on top of Burkan Khaldun, his favorite refuge. For whom else would such an imposing tumulus have been built in a sanctuary that has been off limits since the 13th century? Who else's tomb would have been protected and venerated until now? New exploration techniques will one day mean the burial chamber can be viewed however deep it is buried. But for now, only a destructive excavation would reveal its contents. The Mongolian government does not appear willing to authorize excavation. But not only for fear of the curse on this tomb. If his remains were exhumed, Genghis Khan would lose his divine status instantly and become a mere mortal again. He will always be the greatest conqueror of all time, but would become a man like any other. The distinctive shape of the dome at the heart of Professor Giscard's investigation might, after all, be the last laugh for Genghis Khan.
It's the same shape, huh?
For sure. When you see this after the dome,
Obviously.
you understand the symbolism at once.
The hill opens up like a huge theatre. Ta-da! The curtain is raised, and there he is. A few insiders notice it and understand. Others just see it without understanding. If everything is revealed to the people in a few years, the authorities will say it was never hidden. It was there. It's incredible.
Hidden in plain sight.
Yes, hidden in plain sight. Absolutely.